Oh, should I start? Or
Yes, dear,
I'll
you
start.
can.
Okay. It's so funny because every time you guys make me do a webinar, you'd never tell me to give an introduction, and then when the webinar starts, you'd be like, "Okay, Siddharth, give an introduction." So from the last time that I gave a sort of thing like this, I remember I started off with how 10th works and how 12th works as well. So I'd give you a nice introduction about how NIOS works, assuming that a lot of you are going to take part in NIOS sooner or later. So essentially, with me, I started NIOS when I was in year 10. That was secondary, and I took 6 subjects instead of 5. So the minimum you have to take is 5 subjects. I took 6 because I needed to guide me at the time, and I just took an extra subject, which was, I think, a vocational subject called basic computing. So the minimum you have to take is 5. I took 6, and I suffered with that for an entire year. And I think a basic understanding is when your exams take place. That is in April and May and October and November. And I did my exams in both sections, April and May and October, November. And something you guys can probably use is on demand. It's very useful. It's where you can choose the day you want to write the exam. And for 12th, which I'm in right now, I'm using on demand. So I've got my exams at the end of next month and during the first week of August. And it's super beneficial because you guys have your projects, your classes, your webinars, everything going on. And when it comes to examinations, especially in April and May and October, November, you don't really get the choice of choosing when you want to write the exam. But with on demand, you can just choose maybe a month prior, and that helps a lot. What else? There's TMA, tutor mark assignment. I think TMA is so important because it gives you 20 marks out of your whole examination, except for ones with practical. I'll get to that later. But the ones with TMA is super beneficial because it's essentially like an open book test. It's just a project, and it's super easy to score in your TMA. I think a lot of us, including me and past alumni like Kendra, Jana, all of them, we all scored what 19, 20 in all our subjects because it's super easy. And it's essentially just writing down all the answers from the TMA question paper, barely 20 questions. Super easy stuff, easy to score, and that's super beneficial. And I think I don't remember the dates I don't remember the due dates for TMA, but it's usually like 4 months prior to your exam. So if you're writing in like October, November, you'd probably have to finish your TMA by June and or July. I think June, end of June. And what else? Then there's practicals. Practicals, I had practicals for 10th and 12th. For 10th science, we had practicals. It's very simple, essentially, because you guys have a study center. You go to the study center, inquire about it, you get a teacher. This teacher help you with the practicals. They'll teach you how to do the practicals during your PCP classes. So your PCP classes like interactive classes. And that does help a lot because you learn how to do the practical. And during your practical examination, you generally have an individual from outside the school who comes and evaluates you for your practical examination. So in my case, for year 10, I took science and I had a practical, and that was for biology, chemistry, and physics. And we had to do this onion experiment where you put it under a magnifying glass and under a microscope, and then we had to add ink to it, all sorts of things. And then like the candle experiment from you have a practical record book where you have to write down all your practicals. And I'd say doing that is just easy marks at the end of the day because it's just given to you. You don't have to memorize anything other than like 3 practicals. And it's just easy marks. So like in science, scoring 30 marks easy, right? And then you just have to study for the rest 70. What else? Important points. There's this thing called bifurcation of your subjects. So essentially, for each subject, you don't have to study the entire textbook. You have to study, I think, 60% of it, because 40% goes for your TMA. So, for example, I'm studying law for year 12. And for me, 40% of my syllabus goes for my TMA, which again, easy marks. You get 20 marks out of that. And the rest 60% goes for your final examination, which by itself it's not hard, it's just unfamiliar. But it gets easier that way because you're just studying 60% of the syllabus. And yeah, I think that's about it. Like, a brief about NIOS.
Okay, so Ilan, can you share your experience?
Yeah,
Ilan,
actually, yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
yes, dear. Can
Yeah,
someone
so
spotlight Ilan? Yeah, I will spotlight.
Before that, everyone, please on your camera, children.
Yes, Ilan.
yeah, ma'am, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, I wrote 3 subjects on this April. So I registered on last, I'm not sure, on last June or so. I mean, I'm not sure about that. I registered for I mean, 4 to 5 months ago before writing for this April. So I wrote 3 exams, that is English, entrepreneurship, and data entry. And also I got good marks on that. I passed actually. And I think, yeah, there was practicals also, like before the exam there'll be practicals. So for that, yeah, I also passed for that. And yeah, it was good and it was easy, like there's no complication in this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ilan. Okay, so let's start the Q&A. So those who have question, they can raise their hand, and facilitators can call the students. And before starting the Q&A, Siddharth, I would like to ask you something that most of the parents are asking us. Like, is it valid? Is the certificate of NIOS is valid or not?
It's as valid as any other board out there, similar to GCSEs and I know and CBSE and ICSE. It's just as valid as all the other boards.
Okay, thank you. And how many subjects are there? How many subjects that we can choose?
I think for both 10th and 12th, it's 5 subjects minimum and 7 subjects maximum.
Okay. Okay, now we can. Yes, Nidina ma'am, over to you. You can call one by one and we can start.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Seeing Siddharth after so long, right, Siddharth? Hope you are doing good. Yeah. So let's start. So, children who all are having doubts, kindly raise your hands. We'll call each one. Can you please raise your hands? Expecting a lot of queries from everyone. Higher grade students. Once you start raising your hands, only we'll be calling the students. First, it's Akash. Akash was waiting to ask some questions to Siddharth.
Okay,
Says.
just to
Yes.
clear this up, I'm not asking this question just for the sake of asking it
But
to
you
my
really have
brother.
Mhm.
Yeah,
okay, fine.
so how many subjects did you have to choose from in 10th?
How many subjects did I have to choose from? I think close to 20, 25,
And
including vocational subjects.
do the subjects you choose in 10th like affect the subjects you can choose in 12th?
No. So if you don't take math in 10th, you can still take math in 12th. If you don't take science in 10th, you can still take science in 12th.
Do most colleges look into do colleges mainly only look into your 12th grade scores or also the rest, like for 10th?
Usually your 12th, not your 10th.
Okay, but do colleges also look at resumes you give them?
Yeah, your application, your resume, your 12th scores, your entrance exam scores, all of that.
So for scholarships, you can get a percentage of a scholarship. Like if you get a 50% scholarship, that means 50% of the cost are covered, right?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. That's everything.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Akash, for initiating the session. So for those who are unaware, Akash is Siddharth's brother, okay? Younger brother. Yes. So next we are having Sian. It's our Sian, right? Our old Sian. Hello, Sian. How are you? It's been so
Hello.
long.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah. You can ask the questions.
Yeah, my doubt is about the TMA. So I don't have the access to the TMA. So what will I do?
You don't have access to the TMA.
No, I don't.
What do you mean you don't have access to the TMA?
I registered the NIOS last year and paid the exam fee this year to write the exam in this October. And I was checking on the TMA and I don't have the access to it.
Did you miss your TMA dates?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway.
Okay. Okay. Well, you were writing your 10th.
Yeah.
You're writing your 10th this year?
Yeah.
You registered you wrote it in April and May, or you
I
haven't?
didn't write any exam. No.
So you're writing it in October?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have access to the TMA.
No.
Like when you go to the dashboard, you can click on TMA.
Yeah, there's no access.
So you can't click on TMA.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't show anything when I click on it.
So okay. So I'm sure that you've probably missed your TMA due dates. But I think one way to get around that, when are you writing your 10th exams?
Huh?
When are you writing your 10th exams?
This October.
Have you registered for the examination?
Yeah.
Okay. I think if I'm not wrong, the due dates for the examination, no, due dates for the TMA is the end of this month. And I think you'll have to write them as soon as possible. You do one thing, I'll just message me later on. I'll help you. I think you did last time.
If I'm telling,
And
you want
yeah,
to rest.
but just I'll help you out there, because if you've missed your TMAs, I'm pretty sure you can still write them. Even if you missed it last year, you can still write it this year. All you have to do is make it into a PDF and submit it, and you'll probably get your marks in like a month. So yeah, but
No, I don't
I'm sure
have.
you don't have what?
I don't have the questions. I don't have anything.
The questions are on the website. So if you go to the NIOS syllabus
Yeah.
website,
Yeah.
you'd have things like past question papers, TMA, syllabus, all of that. So just if you it's in secondary, all your subjects which have, I'm pretty sure all your subjects have TMA. So
Yeah.
just type in the subject, type in the code, the subject code, type secondary, and then just type TMA. Or just type this subject, you click on it. Along with the syllabus, there'll be like the TMA option. It'll be near the worksheets. There'll be the TMA. Get all the questions, answer all the questions, take a picture of it, make it a PDF, and submit it online.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Thanks.
All right.
Yes. Thank you, Zian. So others, please raise. Yes, Riza's hand is raised. Yes, Riza, you can ask your question.
Yeah, you have studied in Hash Future School, right?
Yes, for a long time.
Yeah, like what? How many years have you studied?
I think 4 or 5 years. I think 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have a source of income now?
Now, no, zero, absolutely zero. I did at one point for like, I think until like last November or last December. And I think before that, I think for like 2.5 years. Yeah, I think about right now, absolutely zero. But earlier I did. Yes.
While you were studying here, you were doing some freelance work, right, Sidharth? That's
I was.
yeah.
Yeah, the dead celebrity thing. I learned to outsource it as well. I was outsourcing it to others, and then I stopped in November after I think I did it for about 2.5 years. But yeah, there was something. I think that's about it. I think that's one bit. The startup, I don't think we ever made any money from that. We only pitched it to investors, and that was it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Next question, please. Raise your hands. If your hands are not being raised, we'll be calling each higher grade students. You have to ask something. So please raise your hands, children, if you're having any doubts. Those who are actually preparing for the exams, higher grade, explorers, higher, expecting some questions from you. Fizan, are you here?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Ask something. Maybe any advice, at least an advice can be asked, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to ask that.
So you don't have any doubts also, Fizan?
Not till now.
Okay, maybe Sidharth will give you some extra exam strategies that we can use. Okay, so everyone, whenever like if you are attending NIOS or not, you can use these strategies. Yes, Sidharth, come on.
This is not fair. You didn't ask me to do this. This is
But not everyone were there at that time. Only few students were there.
yeah. I think only one last week during the Lumen, I think. Okay. I've got like written it. I've written it on the wall or like on a piece of paper. There are like three strategies that I use. One is past questions. Shihab taught me this, I think, about 3 years ago or 2 years ago on using past question papers. It's super beneficial. A matter of fact, I like literally have them with me right now. I'm still studying for my 12th, so I've like, got all the past question papers with me, and I think that's like the biggest cheat code is just past question papers, and so the strategy that Shiab sir taught me years ago was one, go through the entire syllabus, get a brief understanding of what the whole subject is about. And then right after that, and also at the end of every chapter in every subject, you have like the section with in-text questions. Yeah, it'll be in between the chapters. And then also, what did you learn? That's a section at the end of every chapter. Go through those. Super important. It's like gold. So go through those. Very important because these questions are the ones which come up in the examinations. And then once you're done with the syllabus, you go through past question papers. Past question papers are like essentially, if you're writing an exam this year, do past, I don't know, 9 years of question papers. I'm doing past, I think, 6 years because that's all they have for law. But for like law, I have 14 past question papers. For economics, I have, I think, 34, but I'm doing only 15 now. And for mass communication, I think I have about 15 as well. So I think that's like the biggest cheat code doing past question papers, and also mock tests. So what I do is even now I'm studying past question papers. I'm writing all I like if for example if there's like a question, I like write it down. Right, I don't know if you can see. I'll write down the answers and like a brief overview of what the answer is, and then before I get to bed, I like keep it on my side table, and like 15 minutes I just revise through the past question paper. So essentially, it's essentially just spaced repetition, but active recall as well, where you keep spacing it out over the course of a few days, and then you keep going through it. So before you get to bed, you read through it. When you wake up in the morning, you go through it. And that way you kind of make your memories, like concrete. And then doing mock tests. So right now, even me, I'm doing all my past question papers, studying all the questions and answers. And then at the end of this month, so I think on the 23rd is when I start my mock test. So mock test is essentially just sitting down with the past question paper and writing down essentially just making like an examination. So most exams here in NIOS is from 2:30 to 5:30, right? So that's about 3 hours. And so you sit down at 2:30, from 2:30 to 5:30, yeah, and you write the exam, and you keep doing that. So one, you get used to the timing. You don't have to get up to go use the loo or anything like that. You get used to the timing. You get used to just sitting down writing your answers for a good 3 hours. And how that helps is you're essentially preparing your mind, one, that you can sit down and write for 3 hours. Yeah. Two, you get used to answering all these questions. And the thing is with past question papers is that after a few years, everything just starts repeating. Yeah, 60% of the questions is repeat questions. So you start remembering all these answers because like, oh, the first question paper had this, so does the fifth, so does the 10th. And that way you remember all these answers and they always show up in your examination. There have been so, even in like 10th, all my past question papers, all the questions that repeated, yeah, I think about 50% of them came for the examination. And it was so much easier because I know it at the back of my hand. I know what the answers are. Like I get it in like a second, just write it down. Everything else, think for a little bit. It's somewhere that something I know, I remember, but it just takes me a tad bit longer. And what else? Examination tip: start from the end. Never start from the front. Yeah, never start if you've got like from most examinations like 50 questions, of which 20 questions will be MCQs, 10 questions will be 2 markers, and 10 questions will be maybe 3 and 4 markers. And the last, I think about 10 to 8 questions, I'd say about that much, would be about 6 markers. And the trick with this is all you have to do is start from the end. Because if you miss maybe the last 5 questions or last 10 questions, you lose 30 marks. But if you miss the first 10 questions, you lose 10 marks. Yeah. And MCQs is the easiest. So do them at the end because at the end, when you're like 2.5 hours in, doing the last 20 MCQs is more or less entertaining, more than being stressful, because you've done the hard part, you've gone through the suffering with the 6 markers, the writing of essays, but now all you have left is just like 10 or 15 markers, and that's it. It's as simple as that. And you just have to choose. And you've probably done this, in your past question papers. You probably remember all of that. And so always start from the end of the question paper when you write an examination. Second, another tip I have is work on weak spots. If you, for example, like in law, there are so many weak spots for me because you have Article 21 for right to liberty. Then you have all these articles you have to memorize, and essentially work on the weak spots. There's something weak, write it down, yeah, and study those. And then once you're strong with those, find other weak spots. The whole point is don't strengthen what you're already good at, right? Strengthen what you're weak at. And I used to do that. For example, I used to do economics more than law, even though law is harder. And my mom would always come and tell me, "Why aren't you doing law?" And I think even till today, I keep doing economics because I feel like that's my safe zone. I don't do law as much, thinking that it's so difficult. So the whole point is work on the hard subject, work on the weak spots. It's uncomfortable most of the time, but it would pay off. And then another point: applying information to real life. The information that you have, try and apply to real life. For example, I heard the other day uh, in my brother's class that you guys were doing this thing with statistics on who would win the FIFA World Cup, and I found that's actually so brilliant because now you're applying statistics to real life. That's just amazing. And that's the same thing you should do with your NIOS study. It's as simple as that. You're doing it in school, you're doing it in class, you're applying all that you're studying in real life. And that's the point of knowledge and information that you gain from studying. You don't just by heart it and keep it in the back of your head and you're like, I'll use it maybe 10 years from now. You use it in real life because the more you use subjects in real life, the better you understand it, the better you kind of comprehend it because you know where to use it. So even like in a real world situation where you can use statistics to figure who's going to win FIFA, nobody's going to ever forget statistics. You're going to remember statistics because you use it to predict the outcome of a competition. And I find that so nice because even with, like, for example, I'm studying law. There's something I can just read out of here. There's common law system. That's essentially law which was developed by England but used by Commonwealth countries. And how do you use that in real life? Yeah, try and apply that to real life, how does that affect you? How did England ruling India for the colonialism, how did that affect you? So when you connect ideas, connect topics, you remember them better. Like there's a simple trick where to remember somebody's birthday, you connect it to some information you already have. And it's like, oh, your birthday is on like maybe the 22nd of November. Oh, I know somebody's birthday who's on the 18th of November, and I connect it somewhere there. Same thing with studying. Always connect information with what you already know. And essentially, there's something you know and something you don't know. You connect it, now you know both. And it's as simple as that. And the best thing is you keep going through this, you'll remember it a lot better. And you'll remember it for your examination. I guarantee you that. And what else? Yeah, work on your weak spots, practice past questions, explaining concepts. Explaining concepts is something I've been doing for like a while now. There's something called the Feynman technique where whatever you study, explain it to like an imaginary person or like another person, like they're a 5-year-old. Yeah. Essentially explaining it to a child, because now you're explaining the concept at such a core level, but it's so simplified that you remember it better. And that's the best part about explaining concepts. So yeah, practice questions, explaining concepts, applying information to real life, working on weak spots, review before bed, whatever you've written down during the day, if it's like a book or my past question paper, just go through it before bed for maybe like 10, 15 minutes. So that's, I'd say, the best things you guys can follow.
So I think Zian is having one more doubt. Is it Zian? Your hands are raised.
Yeah. Is it okay if we write the answers in the way like for example, the 20 question but not the rest all, so you just write the questions and write the rest all like at the last, or is it compulsory to write in order?
So what you're saying is write all the answers to questions you know,
Yeah.
and then write what you don't know at the end.
Yeah.
Well, first off, you should know all the answers.
No,
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you've studied...
like which takes time, write it last. Which you know fast, write it first.
No,
No?
no. I'll tell you what. I used to fall into the same trap where I thought, write all the easy answers first, yeah?
Uh-huh.
And you're like, wow, I saved all this time. And I let everything else be like the 6 markers, the long essays, the full page, let it be to the end. What that does is it gives you literally, it's just unnecessary stress, yeah? At the end of in the last 30 minutes of the examination, you don't want to be stuck with 2 6 markers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one, you can finish it, but in the back of your head, wait, can I finish it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just extra stress for no reason. So always, I'm not even kidding, just always start from the end. Start with the 6 markers. Yeah. Because they're the most valuable, that gives you the maximum amount of marks. Even though the MCQs are the easiest, it's easy to get through. It gives you that momentum. But what happens is by the time you reach the end, you've already burnt all that you have. Yeah, you're like super tired. You've been sitting there for 2.5 hours and you've got 30 minutes left. Yeah. In those 30 minutes, would you either do 30 easy questions or 2 super difficult questions?
Easy ones. Yeah.
Exactly. You do the easy ones because you're already burnt out. You're like so drained. You don't want to use your mental capacity to figure out, solve a problem. You just want to tick whatever answers, right? So always start from the end. Always. Don't ever forget that. Always. I'm telling you, you'd gain so much more by starting from the end than starting with the MCQs.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Sidharth, I have a question. Other than the
Yes.
resources you received and the past question papers, is there any particular study materials that that helped you to like prepare well? Maybe any sites or any other resources which would be helpful for the students who are preparing?
So I think that's a very good question, because all of us use something or the other, some sort of AI or something to kind of decipher what the textbook has to tell us. I use Gemini. I do. I use Gemini for literally everything, and I use Gemini for my economics, my mass communication, everything, law especially. I think Gemini is something I use like on a daily basis. I stopped using ChatGPT a long time ago. Except ChatGPT for like simple tasks, but with um, studying law, I'd say Gemini. I've been using Gemini for months at this point, and I've all my answers. For example, I put the question paper in and I ask it to answer all the questions along with give like a short explanation so I remember it better. So I have like an answer ready. So yeah, I use Gemini most of the time. I don't use any other sites. I used to for my 10th, I got I forgot what it's called. It's a guide. Yeah, it's a guide. It's called a subject guide. And I found that to be one of the most useless books ever. And I remember I got this, I begged my parents, I told them, I want this guy, I really want this guide. And apparently these guides help you like, score very well in your examination. And I remember, I don't know if I got ripped off or was this the actual guide because I didn't believe it. I got this economics guide for year 10 and I opened the book and it's exactly what my textbook is like, right? All the chapters the same. It's like a duplicate version of my textbook, except it has like one past question paper at the end with all the answers. I am pretty sure they just copy pasted from like, the past question papers that I have and absolutely useless. And I think I gave the book away, no use at all. These guides for NIOS, the ones I've received, it didn't help me at all. Maybe the ones you guys might receive, it might help, but the ones I got, zero use. I mean, I think I opened the book once and then it just collected dust. Because it's just a duplicate of my textbook with one past question paper, that's it. Whereas you can get all your past question papers online. Like for economics, for me, I got like 34 of them online for like the past 10 years or so. So sites, yeah, past question papers from the NIOS website, that's one site. Very, very important site. And Gemini, that's what I use. Yeah, I think these two, that's it. That's about it.
So, like, how do you actually use Gemini? Like, when you get a new topic, like, how do you actually prompt Gemini to get a better understanding? Like, explain this topic or get me questions on this topic. So, just give us an idea. Let's also know the trick.
Ah, I think that's a very good question, actually. I think prompting is so important with Gemini and all AI models, actually, because that tells you how good your answer is going to be from Gemini. Um, what I use is I request it with a lot of kind words like please, kindly, all of that. But no, in all seriousness, um, I put my for my question papers. I put my question paper in. I ask it to answer like that. I have what 35 questions. Like older question papers have fewer questions with more marks for each question. So there's no more MCQs. It's just 2 markers, 3 markers, 4 and 6 markers. I ask it to explain. I ask it to first answer the question so I can write it in my past question paper. Second, I'll ask it to explain what the answer really is. And if it's a very complex topic, I write it down to remember it. If it's something I would write in my past question paper, like a short note, like one of these, I essentially ask you to give me like a short note on it, and I just write it down in my past question paper. Other prompts, yeah, when it comes to understanding super complex topics, like for economics, I think I had one which is correlation analysis. I think I got the thing here. That is, and quartile deviation, all of that. It's quite complicated, and the textbook doesn't explain it properly. It's like they skip through something, and it's difficult to understand. And for me, I use Gemini, and I ask it to just explain it to me like I'm a kid. Yeah. And it would explain it to me like, you've got 5 friends and you're playing with Play-Doh, and then you take 1/4 of the Play-Doh and give it to this person, and you make a fraction out of it, and you make a decimal out. It's essentially just building on that core topic and then adding like a quartile deviation on top of it. So that way you essentially understand it better because you've understood it at such a core level. So your base is strong. So yeah, prompts I use, explain it to me like a 5-year-old, explain it to me like it's a super simple topic. Um, Give me short notes on it that I could write down so I could remember it. Yeah, those are the prompts I use.
Thank you so much, Siddharth, for explaining. Okay, others, I think. Adila, are you here, Adila? I hope you can ask a question now to Siddharth. Adila. Adila, are you here? Ghazal, what about you, Ghazal? Are you here? Ghazal?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yes, you can ask the questions to Siddharth. Any doubt related to NIOS? Again,
I
we
think
have Sian.
Zian. Yeah.
I'm very happy to actually see this because Ziad was the most nonchalant person when we talk about exams. He was not scared back in our classes. No, he's very much interested. No, yes, Ziad, you can ask the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are there any rules before you enter the exam hall? Are there any things that it's compulsory to bring?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Don't carry cheat sheets. Okay. Please just,
Yeah.
avoid that
Yeah.
at all costs. Yeah. Don't write answers on your arm or your
Yeah.
hand or anything. Please don't do
Obviously.
that.
Yeah.
Um, don't don't do the tricks of writing on your water bottle and hiding it, or don't do all of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, these things forbidden.
Yeah.
But
Other
things you
than
should
cheating.
carry other than cheating, yeah. Other than cheating, I'd say bring a water bottle because you'll be thirsty. Okay.
Okay.
And I always carry the water bottle. It sounds ridiculous, but then you will be in those 3 hours. You will have to use it. You'll have to drink some
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
And I'd say carry 2 to 3 pens. Yeah, I
Yeah.
always carry 2 to 3 pens
Zero
because
clock.
one pen would always run out. Second pen. Also, there's this new trick that I learned to write faster. For example, I have this pen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this is one pen. I have another pen, uh, which is slightly different. So this is one pen, this is another pen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two different pens.
Yeah.
Essentially, get 2 to 3 different pens with a different grip. Yeah. So one pen you hold in a certain way, the other one has like a rubber thing on it, like a rubber coating. I'll tell you, I haven't tried it explicitly yet, but what I've learned is apparently when when your fingers get tired because of the strain of writing the examination,
Yeah.
every time your hands get tired, change your pen. Yeah. Because
Okay.
now your grip is changed, different muscles in your fingers are being used.
Yeah. So
So
they'll get something new.
exactly. And
Yeah.
what
Okay.
happens is you get to write longer and you might save maybe like a minute, maybe like 2 minutes. 2 minutes
Yeah.
matter. Differences in an examination, 2 minutes matter a lot. Yeah. And when you're in that flow state of just writing the answer and your fingers hurt, you shouldn't stop writing. Yeah. Just change the pen and just continue writing.
Uh-huh.
So carry 2 to 3 different pens. I'm going to try that this time for like my mock test and everything. Just definitely going to try it. But what else? Carry a ruler, carry pencils, erasers for like diagrams, and diagrams you've always got to draw draw with a pencil. What else? For if they ask you for differences of like two things, like what's
Yeah.
the difference between Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha and like law,
Yeah.
difference between common law and civil law, difference between substantive law or procedural law, things like this.
Yeah.
You have to draw a table. Yeah, one table
Okay.
substantive law, one table procedural law, and then on the left, like scope, mechanism, all of that. And what this does is one, it simplifies the answer for the person who's correcting the exam,
Yeah.
and they give you marks instantly because they've understood what they know that you've understood the topics
Yeah.
you've drawn the table. For the table, always carry a pencil, eraser, ruler. Color pencils are not allowed. Yeah, you cannot. I tried. Okay, I thought I could, but I didn't. I thought I could, because essentially coloring your answers
Yeah.
helps the examiner know, oh, you know the answer, you know what the key point is. Instead of coloring, underline. underline what the key point of your answer is. So like a 6-marker, underline the key point. Yeah. So they know,
Okay.
oh, the kid knows the answer. This is the key point. I'm giving him the marks. Simple as that. So
Okay.
underline, never carry color pencils. Don't color your paper. It's not a art competition. It is an examination.
Yeah.
What else? I think, yeah, for math, I think geometry, you'll have to carry your like compass and all of that.
I compass
Uh,
those stuff. Yeah.
your geometry kit or your set. What else? What else?
Anything uniformly?
Carry uniform, nothing. You can wear you can
Whatever.
wear anything. Please wear yeah, to be fair, they wouldn't really ask. Just wear regular clothes. Yeah, just to be fair, dress up all right. Yeah, wear like for guys, just wear a shirt, something, I think just anything is just don't go in
Anything.
pajamas, okay? Just don't go in
Okay.
pajamas. That's the last thing you want. I think that and carry so in the examination you get like a booklet, right?
What?
So you get a book. So you don't. So I'm pretty sure in schools, if for those who've been to like regular schools, you've got like a sheet, like 5 sheets, and if you
Yeah.
need an extra sheet, you ask them for an extra sheet,
Yeah. They
and
give
then
it.
at the end of the examination, like tie together.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
tie it out. Yeah.
exactly.
No. Yeah.
Here that's not how it works. They give you like a booklet with 50 sheets, which is already tied together. Out of 50 sheets, you'll maybe use like 25, 30 marks. Nobody ever asks for extra sheets.
Okay.
So those examination boards you get, like it's like a board and you get have like clip on top. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you haven't seen those?
No.
It's like a board. It's like a board, right?
Okay.
And you like have a clip on top and you essentially like clip the A4 sheet paper on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you get that? It's like I think it's
The
called an
pinboard or
examination
something.
board.
Pinboard
What?
something. Is it
Pin?
like
No, I don't know.
pinboard?
I don't know if it's pin.
Something.
It's like I used to call it an examination board.
Okay.
But I don't know if I'm growing old now already. But so I used to use that for my hall ticket and my ID card. So you have a hall ticket and you have an NIOS ID card. Carry both. Anyways, yeah. Sometimes they do ask you to carry your Aadhaar card. I carry mine in my backpack anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So if they ever ask, you just go outside, pick it up, and come inside. So hall ticket, ID card, your stationery kit, a bottle of water. Yeah, and I think that's about it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, finally we have Visan's hand raised. Yes, Visan, ask your question.
Yeah, so my question is, after we pay for the exam fees, when do we need to pay the practical fees,
I don't think there is a practical fees. From my memory, I don't think I ever paid for my practicals because it comes along with the examination. And I don't think I ever paid for practicals. I paid for my examination, my admission, and my examination. I think the best thing you can do is just go to the center. Yeah, one thing I did was go to the center, meet the teacher, say hi, show your face. I'll tell you why. And remember to keep repeating your name to that teacher. Okay? Because this teacher is the one who corrects your TMA. Yeah. So if she remembers your name and she sees your name like, I know Fizan, let me give him 20 on 20. Okay. So yeah, that's a TMA, but yeah, I'm digressing here. With practicals, I don't think there's any fees. I don't think there's any fees whatsoever. You just have to write your record book, go to the center, get it signed, and then go for the practical. I don't think there's any fees of any sort.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. Zian, you have another question?
Yeah. What are the problems you face if you don't have access to your study center?
Problems you face? Ooh. I think I understand where you're coming with the question because you're in Dubai and your
Yeah.
study center's in India.
Ma'am,
Yes, Naifa, what is it?
when I leave from it, I have headache.
Okay, nice. Okay, fine.
Probably from my talking. Ah,
Maybe
oh
news
boy.
that please not use your talks, maybe because of that. Yes, you
I
can
think,
continue, dear.
yeah. I think, Zion, I understand where you're coming from because your exam center is in, I think,
Yeah.
Kerala. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you're in Dubai. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a typical scenario. I completely understand what you're trying to say. The problem with not going to your study center can come with two problems. First problem, you don't get access to information other kids get with your PCP classes. The PCP classes are, I think they last for like 30 days. And did you go for your PCP classes last year?
No.
So you've missed it. Yeah. Guess what? Even I missed it. Okay, I did. And I didn't know. Yeah, at least you know. I didn't know. And I went to the study center and I said, boss, where's my PCP classes? And my hall ticket said that my PCP classes were last year in September and I'm showing up the next year in February. And they're like, no, you don't have PCP classes. And we went and begged the teacher, we asked her just teach me something. And then she's like, look, you're going to lose marks for your PCP classes anyways, but just come for the practical, for the PCP classes, you learn something. I'm like, okay, cool. So I went for the PCP classes. PCP classes, I think, I honestly don't know when they are. You'll have to check with on your dashboard, you'll have something called PCP and
Yeah.
you'll get a hall ticket for that. Check when the dates are. You'll probably have to fly to India then. I know it's like a drastic move, but you'll probably have to. And you'll have to go for the PCP classes because I tried not going for the PCP classes once because I had something to do on those days. And the teacher just told me, look, you have to come for the PCP classes. If you don't, I don't think I can share information with you. She was a little curt, but then it's not her fault. That's how the thing works. Yeah. So going to the study center, very important. Show your face. Show your face to the teacher who's in charge of your subject. I'll tell you why. Um, they mark your TMA. So when they mark your TMA, they see your name. They're like, oh, I know the kid. I told you this earlier. You
Yeah.
get full marks. I did that. I scored very well in that subject for my TMA. I was like, wow. Even though my TMA was good, yeah. And I think I colored my TMA. I had like a very nice what do I call it? Very nice cover page. So it's a very attractive cover page, which so the teacher knows, oh, he's probably his TMA. Yeah. And so that's one. But I don't think there are any outright negative aspects of not going to the center. I think if you just one more thing. You have to submit your record book to the center before your practical examination because they have to sign it. The teacher has to sign it and the principal has to sign it as well.
How do you know when it is the examination? Like
Mm, Your practical examination should be in September, if I'm not wrong. I think September. How do I know that? It's usually a month or two,
before a month before exam.
month
Okay.
or a month and a half before the examination.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it should be in September. I think it should be in September.
Okay.
Or in February, March next year.
Next year.
Yeah. So I think that's the only disadvantage of not going to the study center. But I highly recommend that you do because it definitely helps. The teachers give you information which you wouldn't find on the website. Things like when the practical is happening, when do you find the dates on the bulletin board?
What do you have to do?
What?
So yeah, I think.
Okay. But since you're in Dubai, I think one thing I'd say is just call the study center. Yeah. Ask them, look, I'm not in the country. I think it's in Kerala, speak in Malayalam helps a lot. Yeah. Just ask, which part of Kerala they're from, and then just say you are also part of that part. And then they'll be like, oh, you're like brothers, and then you get all your information. In Bangalore doesn't work. I didn't know Kannada, but I'm pretty sure. Just call them up. I called them up. It didn't
How do you
help
have
as much.
contact with the study center?
You Google the study center, and it'll probably be like a school or college or an institution. They'll have like a number on the website. Call that number. Simple as that. Call that number.
No, I mean
Ask
like,
them. Yeah.
how do you get the how do you know which city center you got selected? Because I don't find it.
On your dashboard,
Yeah.
you'll have something called student dashboard. That'll be on thing, as I always say. I'll probably just open mine. Just a second.
Ma'am,
There's something called My Details. You click on My Details, and
Yeah.
it'll tell you what the study center is, where your studies, the name of your study center, along with the address.
Mm, my documents, yeah. No.
No, My Details is on top. On top.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, got it. And
Yep.
on demand exams, like on demand, you do the on demand exams by booking the subjects and checking if it's available or not. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
It's not extra paid, yeah. On demands.
Extra what?
Is it extra paid on demands? Do we
Yeah,
have to pay for them?
you'll probably have to pay for the examination. Like just those four, whatever subjects you'll pay for per subject.
Around how much for one?
I don't quite remember, but I don't think it's a lot. I don't think it's the same as every other subject for like regular examinations.
Will it affect your the date when you get the marks?
Yeah, yeah. So if you write on demand in June, July, August, September, you'll
Yeah.
get your marks, I think maybe by October, November. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only difference.
That's all. Okay, done. Thanks.
Ma'am, I don't think I can hear you.
Yeah, your voice is not audible.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes. Does anyone have any other questions? We have many NIOS aspirants here. Alam, Zainaba, Adila, Panchika, Ghazal. But why no one is asking any questions? Yes. Does Varnika have any question? Your hands
no,
was
ma'am,
raised.
nothing, ma'am. Ma'am, 5 minutes. Can I go out and come, ma'am? Like
Yeah,
5 minutes, please.
Everyone's tired of me.
Thank you, ma'am.
The facilitators present here, do you guys have any questions? You may
Hi,
also have
Sidharth.
just heard about NIOS. Like you can also ask questions if you have doubts.
I wrote my 10th as NIOS, ma'am. My
So
10th.
we should have asked Minha ma'am to take the
No,
session first,
that
right?
was like what, 9, 10 years ago.
Mm,
But yes,
yes.
whatever Siddharth said, he's like on track. He's giving out the right points regarding the TMAs and the PCPs. I did not have PCP because I was in Qatar, but the students in India does. I don't know. Does Fizan have PCP?
Yeah, I do, but then
You-
actually I also did miss it. Supposed to write
Ah,
it on April.
okay. I did not back then. For me, I just had to do it by myself, like the whole thing. And also for practicals, I did not have anything. I just had a written, like very short paper. But now, like, things have changed. You do have proper practicals.
What do you do actually for the practicals then?
It was just a question paper. That's all I had. Very similar to your TMAs. That's it. Nothing else.
You didn't
Not
do
sure if
anything,
they even
like an
like I
experiment.
got full points even though I missed out. Like they just graded it entirely for me for some reason because NIOS was just starting out here in Qatar. So the systems weren't that proper and stuff like regarding the PCP and all of that. But yeah, it's nice to hear Siddharth talk about it. He has like a lot of information and he's like well thought of. So good. Yes, Zian.
Yeah. So won't the team mark affect like if you submit too late?
Yes, it will. It might
Does
like
it?
So is there any point of
I
submitting
never
now?
think, even if you, I don't think there's a difference because whether you I submitted on, I think I submitted one day before the deadline, and
yes. It was before.
I think I got full marks in every one
In
of them.
everything. They don't really, I
Yeah,
mean, as long as you do it neatly and it's presentable, you get scored well. That's it. Even for
yeah,
your written
yeah.
papers, guys, the teachers who are going through them, like the first impression, try to write it down neatly, properly in an order, and you do get extra marks. Like they'll not go through every single sentence. So you get marks like that.
Yeah.
So it won't affect the mark if you submit it late.
I don't think so.
Unless I mean yeah, unless it's presentable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Fizan, you have a question?
Yeah, so my doubt is, what do you do for practicals actually? Quite confused on that.
I didn't get that. What is that?
What would you do, when you go for the practical exam?
Depends. If it's for science, I had to first submit my record book, and they'll check if it's signed and marked. And then for science, during your PCP classes, they'll teach you how to do the practicals. And for science, I did the candle experiment. There were three. There's candle experiment. There was the burning of some plastic piece experiment, and then physical and chemical change, super easy. And then the onion experiment where you cut an onion, put some ink on it, and then you put it like on I forgot what the plastic piece, and then you like smash it on another plastic piece, and you put it under a microscope. Okay, weird stuff. That took the longest because I think it took about 15 minutes to do the whole thing, and you can mess it up as well. So I think those were, and all of them were present in the practical workbook. You have a practical workbook as well. You can find it online, or you can just print it out. Yeah, so that's all you have to do. Practical, you also have Viva. When I did my year 10, I had Viva. So we had to, what did we have to do? We just went into a room, and these two invigilators would come. They're from outside the school, and they'll sit down, they'll ask you questions, and they'll mark you, they'll check your record book, and they'll mark you accordingly. And I think they asked me some very simple questions. I think I sat down. Oh yeah, they asked me what the SI unit of temperature was, and I immediately said Kelvin. And then they asked me, I think, two questions about my record book, and I answered. I think I answered it flawlessly, and I'm pretty sure they were happy with what I said. And they're like, okay, you can go. And then you just get up and you leave the room. Yeah, and they'll give you your record book back, and khalas, that's all. That's all that's there. And you get your marks, I think, after a month. No, you get your marks after you finish your examination. You get your practical marks as well. And I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And one more thing. What do you use lab manual for? Is it the same thing as practical workbook?
I think the lab manual is the same thing. I think it's the same thing. It's the same 20. I think you should have 20 practicals. You have to write about all of them in your record book and submit to your school, this learning center.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions, anyone?
Siddharth,
Yeah.
were you stressed out before your first exam? If so, like how did you deal with the exam pressure?
That's a very good question. But who's asked? I don't think you
I'm
see the
Adila. I'm
individual.
one of
It's
the
our
new
new
facilitators here.
facilitator.
Oh, okay. Because over here, when they say facilitator, I can only see like one facilitator, and then everybody's like hidden
Yeah,
behind
it's
them.
one general account for us.
Yeah. So the question was, how did I deal with stress? Right?
Yeah.
I suppose I still have stress because I'm writing my exams next month. But coping with it is probably just, I think once you get an understanding what the subject is about, you have the confidence and you know, okay, I know the subject, I know what's this all about. And you're rather confident about, okay, once you do mock tests, you get an idea of how well you're going to score. And that gives you the confidence knowing that, okay, I know the subject, I know what's happening. Another way to deal with stress is sleep. Yeah, I love sleeping. And that's another thing. Also, I think with question papers, essentially knowing that you know the answers, yeah,
Yeah.
subconsciously knowing I know the answers to these questions gives you the confidence, and that reduces stress. Another thing for me, it's kind of weird, but I used to be excited to go for an examination because for me it was like, oh, they're going to test me on how well I know the subject. So I
Yeah.
go in with that excitement, and I'm there to like prove myself that I've studied and I've worked hard, and
Taking up a challenge.
it's like a challenge. It's more of taking it up as a challenge, not not something where I'm super scared or I'm fretting about the outcome of the examination. And it's more of excitement, and that I'd say reduces stress by a massive margin. Second, exercise. I still exercise six days a week, 5 to 6 days a week. I try to, and I say that reduces stress as well. And but overall, knowing that you know the subject, or knowing that you're going to do very well, having the confidence that you know you're going to do very well, knowing all the answers to the past question papers gives you that confidence and reduces stress. So I suppose that's how I deal with stress. Also, help. What's it? No, socialize with your friends. I think year 10, the second portion, I didn't socialize at all. And I used to join. I was very upset then. I used to join class once a week, every Wednesday, and I'll see all my friends there. But that is also a sacrifice for social life, and then not meeting your friends
Yeah.
and studying more. But I'd say talking to your friends more, maybe texting them, calling them up every now and then. It really does help knowing that you have somebody there. Yeah. But
Yeah.
also pray a lot. Whoever, whatever you pray to, just pray. I suppose that helps with dealing with stress as well.
Thank you. That was really inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
Diya Suraj has raised her hands. Yes, Diya, you can ask.
I keep hearing a lot of people talk about how they did in the exam, how they studied for it, but like exactly what is the process of doing with the exam? Like, do you just go to the school, you sit down with a bunch of others, you write down the exam, and then you're done? I heard that you only get your answers and you also get your results like a few months later. I feel like that would be very nerve-wracking, and also the TLC or something. I don't remember the exact thing, but like, how did you write that? What all does it come to your house? Do you go somewhere to write it? Bit like that too.
Okay. So what I understand is you're asking me about the examination process from writing the exam, going to the center to getting
I'm
your
like,
results.
yeah, because I've researched a lot about this topic, and I like have a small kind of understanding on how to study, and I've already started, but nobody. I keep trying to search how. So I don't exactly know what we're supposed to do. Like, do I just go there and write the exam? Is there any more processes and stuff like that? It's just a bit confusing.
Okay.
And I
First
also
off,
heard that you
it's
can
the
write,
yeah,
there's something
yeah.
you can write a part of the exam at home or something. I'm not sure.
Okay. That last part is not true. Okay. Or maybe it might be. If you're talking about TMA, you do that at home. You do that at home. That's your TMA. But your actual examination, no, you cannot do it at home. You have to go to the examination center. So to give you an idea of what it really is like, I'll start off from the very beginning of the day of the examination. You go to the examination center, right outside, I think they're like the main door, you'll have a list. This list would contain your roll number and which subject you're writing and which classroom you go to. So you figure that out, yeah, and then 10 minutes later they'll open the doors, you walk in, and you go
So
find
I
that
get,
classroom.
wait 1 second.
Yeah,
You said
yeah.
roll number. Where do I get this roll number from?
You have it on your thing. It's called the
When you
enrollment number.
register, yeah.
Oh, your enrollment. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I think
that's,
I
oh,
have it.
sorry, enrollment number, not roll number, enrollment number. And so you find that number, you go to your you go to your classroom, and yeah, or usually they, like for me, the teachers will like escort you to the classroom. They'll tell you where to go, and they tell you where the classroom is, and just go there, and you go sit down. Oh yeah, on when you enter the classroom, the teacher would check if you are supposed to be in this classroom or not, and your enrollment number usually would be like written on the table, yeah, on your desk. So you go find where that is. If they haven't written it on the desk, you ask the teacher let you know, and you sit down. Because also never get your center wrong, your examination center wrong. Because once last year I think I was writing business studies or English, and I remember this vividly. This kid, this tall young guy, he's in my class, he's probably my age, and he's asking the teacher, "Where's my seat?" Right? And the teacher looks at him in absolute dismay. He says, "This is not your center. You've got to get a cab and go to your actual center. It's like 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers away." And this chap races out of the room. So remember to get your center right. And I think once you get to your center, everything's like taken care of for you. It's like super simple. It's very well coordinated with where you have to sit and everything. So now you have your enrollment number written on your table. You sit down on your table, yeah, at your desk, and then I think everything else is taken care of you. Everything else is taken care for you. And after that, yeah, the teacher starts the examination. They're supposed to give you the question paper 2:15, and then you're supposed to write the answers at 2:30. And these 15 minutes you just read through the paper, you just go through, you understand what the papers, what the main questions are, what you want to start with. Always start from the end, but what you want to start with, what the question, kind of get an idea of what the answers are like. You can even note down with a pencil, oh, this is what I want to do, this is what the answer is like, yada yada. And yeah, and then mid-examination, I think about an hour or 2 hours into the examination, they'll come and take your signature. Okay, and don't be amazed by it. It's just super simple process. They'll have like a photo of you along with your enrollment number, along with the center name, and you just sign. Yeah, and they'll come and bother you with that. Then during the examination, they'll come flip your answer sheet, or they'll shut your booklet, and they'll check if you've put all the if you've filled in all the details, and if you haven't, they'll ask you to like write whatever, and they get like a principal stamp, and they'll stamp your paper, yeah, and then they leave. So these two things: sign, stamp, and check your details. That's all. And then you write the
For God's sake, why
examination.
are they
Yeah.
doing it while we're writing the? Why would they be doing this while we're writing the exam? Because I've done a few test exams and I'm like barely getting it done when the alarm rings. Why would they do it in the middle of you writing the exam?
So I know I don't think I've ever asked them this because it's like a super hard process, but it barely takes a minute. Okay, overall. And of course, it disrupts your flow when you're writing the examination, but overall, it shouldn't bother you all that much. It really shouldn't. It's like a super small process. The reason they do that is because they should know if you are writing the exam or if somebody else is writing the exam. Yeah, that's what the signature is for. And what else? And yeah, they'll check your photo. If the photo where with is the same with you and the person in like the in the sheet is the same, they'll be like cool. And stamping, they don't stamp the question answer sheet because it's just for like security, because you're writing the examination there, yeah. Or you could probably just get like a stamped paper, get out of the room, write whatever you want, use your phone, whatnot, and submit it later. So that's a process you just can't skip. It just happens to be there. And yeah, once you're done with the examination, remember, don't follow the crowd. A lot of my peers in my examination, they finish what 45 minutes to an hour before the examination ends. They finish the exam in 2 hours. Yeah. And that kind of adds stress, because there was just one time last year I was writing English, and there were like 30 or 35 people in the entire room. And they all finished the exam, I think 45 minutes to an hour early. And at the end, I think I was there. I was there for the last 10 minutes. And I finished my examination in what, 2 hours, 55 minutes. Everybody else finished the examination like in 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes. And I remember this teacher coming up and asking me, hey, why are you taking so long? And they're not supposed to ask you that. They're supposed to just let you write the examination. And that just added stress because I think, the second last person in the room. There were just two people, yeah, or three people, including the invigilator. So don't go by everybody else. Yeah, you've done well. You've studied well. Just write the examination. Take your time. They've given you 3 hours for a reason. Otherwise, the examination would have been 2 hours. So yeah, don't be dismayed by that. Second, once you're done, you just leave your answer sheet on the table and take your question paper and leave. Yeah, and with your water bottle and all your things. Yeah, don't take the answer sheet with you, please, and don't leave the question paper behind. That's an exception for on demand. In on demand, you have to leave the question paper. And I think in on demand, you don't just leave the question paper, you give the question paper and answer sheet to the invigilator. Now you don't just leave it there. That's on demand. In regular examination, you just leave the answer sheet on the table and take the question paper and go home. Second, it takes, I think, about.
Sorry,
Yeah.
really sorry. What is that on-demand thing? Like, I've heard about it while researching, but I haven't really gone into depth because that's not what I'm doing.
So on demand is essentially where you get to book your examination date. Yeah, when you're ready to write the exam, you book the date and you go write your examination. So I'm doing on demand because I don't want to wait until October, November to finish it, and I want to finish it as soon as possible. So I'm writing my first exam, that's law, on the 23rd of July. And the reason it's 23rd is because for example, if it's law, they let you choose any Thursday from June to September. Yeah. A good 4 months, choose any Thursday you want, go write the examination. For economics, it was choose any Tuesday you want. So essentially, you just get to choose the day you want to write the examination because that's when it's maybe the most convenient for you. That's when you're ready. Yeah. Maybe October, November is too long, or maybe April and May is too close to to what you've studied, and maybe you just need time or you don't need time. Either ways, you have this option for June, July, August, and September, and then I think Jan, Feb, and March. Yeah, so you can write your examination throughout the year whenever you're ready. And I picked up on demand because I don't want to wait till October, but essentially just get to book the date. But the difference is when you write the examination, either they put you in like a massive hall where everybody's writing the exams. Yeah, it's not just your subject; it's like all subjects who've registered. So, but then that's a tad bit more distracting because you have so many kids in one room, and that's essentially what on demand is. You just book the date you want to write the examination. That's all. Anything else?
What was that other thing, the one you write at home?
That's TMA. TMA is like an assignment. You write at home, you take a picture of it, and you upload it onto your onto the site. What that does, it just gives you 20 marks. So out of the whole paper, that's 80 marks. Out of 100 marks, 20 marks goes for your TMA. If you have a practical, they divide it again. But then most subjects which don't have practicals, 20 marks is the ones you do at home. That's your TMA. And the rest 80 is the one you write in your examination center.
Exactly.
Yes.
Why would you need a TMA? Isn't it like easier to cheat and stuff if you write a TMA?
No, TMA is an assignment. So they'd give you 20 questions or 15 questions, and you write the answers, and you take a picture of it, and you upload it. Yeah. And they mark you for that. It's not cheating. It's just you. It's like an assignment. Yeah. Like in school, they give you a
I'm
writing
not saying that.
assignment.
No,
Yeah.
no. I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're writing at home, and I don't think there's going to be anyone monitoring you, it'll be easier for people who write it to cheat, right? If since you're writing it at home and nobody's monitoring you.
It's not an exam. It's not a test. It's an assignment. You can take 2 days, 3 days, 2 weeks to answer it. Doesn't matter. Yeah. It's just to see if you can answer the questions. You can use AI to answer the questions for you and copy paste it. Don't do that though; it doesn't help. But just essentially just an assignment. Like in school, you get an assignment, you have to do homework. Same thing. It's like homework. It's like a project. That's all. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think one last question from Sian itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So in TMA,
Sian is
you write in a
showstopper.
blank A4 sheet paper or like.
No, you can write it on ruled paper as well. Regular book. Nothing much.
In a book, you can write in a book. It doesn't matter like the margin, lines, nothing. As long as it's
Nothing.
clear.
Just has to be clear and precise. That's
The
all.
questions is not needed, yeah? Only the question number and the answers, yeah?
I think so. I think just the question number and the answer. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Yes. And why is Shibli's and Aslam's hands raised? Do you have any questions to them?
Yeah, Muhammad's nice. I am parent, not Shibli.
Okay. Yes.
I'm asking, do you feel any difficulties for a written exam, like time management, because you are not familiar with the exam like offline school students?
I think that's where mock tests come in, because what I do is I think this is what all kids should do before their tests. You study like the question paper, like these question papers, and then you write a mock test. So you sit down for 3 hours and you write an examination at home. And you do that like maybe what I do 5-6 times per subject. And that gives you one, the confidence to write the examination. Second, you can sit down and write for a good 3 hours, and your hands kind of get used to writing for 3 hours. So mock tests do help. Yeah, in regular schools you have tests every other week, so you get to practice writing. And but then with NIOS, just do mock tests. Mock tests, simple as that. Mock tests really do help. So you get used to writing the examination.
Yes. Okay, thank you. One more question. For understanding hash future, first I saw your video, your interview about Siabuddin sir. So how do you feel after completing hash future school?
I haven't completed Hash Future School yet, actually.
Completed.
I know I'm still in the
You are
school. I'm still, yeah, I'm in year 12. So
12, you completed 12th, right?
no, I'm writing it next month. So I'm
Okay.
still in the school. But I'm so glad that the interview really helped. I'm so happy. I never thought that people would actually watch the video. And it was wow, I really never thought the interview would go that far. But as far as the review about school, fantastic school, I'll tell you that. It's such a I'd say for me, I was in regular school until year 8. Yeah, I was doing ICSE. Yeah, and it was so difficult. And once I moved to future school, they taught me how to learn. They taught me how to like think, right? Actually think. And to be fair, I doubted school for like 1 year, like a good 1 year, about, are they really teaching me? Is this real, or is this? But I think after that, I kind of understood, oh, this is what the school really is like. They make you think on your own. And once you get to university, nobody's gonna come and teach you. Nobody's gonna come and tell you, hey, Sid, it's time to wake up, it's time to do this, that. You build your own discipline. And I think that's what school is so focused about. I remember there was this one point where Shihab sir did it did a webinar about why you should play games, right? And there were so many kids in school who were so addicted to playing games, and they'd play games like Roblox and all sorts of games. And I remember Sir taught us that it's very important that you play games because you understand a lot from it, but don't get addicted to it. And instead of locking the child's computer or locking the game or deleting it for them and restricting them from putting a software into the computer, restricting them from playing, instead of that, actually drilled it into like our heads, saying that video games are good if you're developing it, but it's not good if you're addicted to it. And I think that's where even a kid's confidence is built, because you're building your own discipline, and it's not forced upon you by somebody else, not forced upon you by a teacher. And we did so many things like, character building. Character building is something I really learned from school. This is such a bad thing to do, but it helped us so much. We made people cry. I remember there was this one time, this is Kendra, actually. I don't know. I apologize for telling her name, but this thing once happened where we had to present a topic about, whatever it may be. You take 1 week, you learn the topic like really well, you present. And I spoke about 5G networks. And what Future School really made us do was ask valid questions and ask really difficult questions, corner the person. Yeah, learn to ask good and valid questions. And I remember there was one time, Kendra was like at the verge of crying. Yeah, because the questions were so harsh. And she was only 13 years old, right? And I was, I think, what, 14, 15 at the time. And the questions were so harsh. But then what happened was the next week, we had to do another presentation. And I think the school taught her how to learn. We all helped her learn, right? How to research, how to put a presentation together, how to talk when you're talking to 50 odd children, and how to answer questions. There was a guy called, I forgot his name, very good friend of mine. He left the school later on. He asked such ridiculous questions. Yeah, he'd overwhelm you with his questions. And that almost made Kendra cry. But then the difference was that built her character later on, knowing that she can answer whatever question comes her way. And the next time that we did the presentation, it was for an essay. She actually did so well. Her essay was one fantastic. Second part was the questions she answered. Ridiculous questions by these few kids, but then few of them asked fantastic questions. Even for questions she didn't know answers to, she came up with something or the other. Instead of, breaking down or, saying, I don't know it, she came up with answers. She came up with something or the other. And I think that really builds your character. When you're broken down, your character is just shattered in school in a safe environment where you're not bullied or mocked. But then you build yourself up in school by doing projects, by conducting events. I once called 70 sponsors, 70 people to sponsor an event of mine, and I was shot down by each and every one of these. I called 72, and I know Nidhina ma'am remembers this. It was, I think, last year. I called seven, and I had to speak in Malayalam, and I couldn't speak Malayalam properly, and I called 75 of them. And I remember I was
I
shot.
just told this in last class in one of our higher grade sessions, like how you were working till midnight for that event.
It was
Yes.
madness. It was actual madness where you call up 70 people, try and talk in Malayalam. She helps us contacts, and I'm like, I couldn't get one sponsor, not one sponsor. And I remember that day I was so shattered by the fact that I called 74 people and not one person gives me the money to conduct the event. And I remember once we canceled the chess competition and we did the sketchmate competition, and we got a sponsor from Dubai, a marketing company to sponsor us from Dubai. And the competition was fantastic, and we had so many setbacks. Things like uh, uh, a friend of mine who was heading it as well, and Nidhina ma'am, no, I won't name her, but she ate my head. Okay, and everybody knows she ate my head, and she wouldn't do this, that, and she was a good individual. It's just that she was so busy with what she was doing that she wasn't able to dedicate time for this. And I remember this one night, I sat up till I think 1 in the morning, sending messages to all these people to join my event. Yeah. I'm telling them I'll give you money if you win. Just join my event. I was sending messages. I think I sent it to what 100 odd people on my WhatsApp. I sent messages till 1 in the morning. And that staying up that late, doing work for an event you're so dedicated about, you wouldn't get to do something like that in school. In school, you might have, the yearly fests or, your founders day at the end of the year. That's where you learn about events. The rest of the year, you just study. And that's where future school is so different. You conduct events, you do so much more than, you learn what the real world is like. Getting shot down by 70 people, right? And these people are like old men, okay? They're like 40s and they're 50s and they're 60s. And you're like a 15-year-old kid calling them up and they're like, no, I don't want to talk to you, right? It breaks you down, but then the school helps you build your character after that. And I think that is so important. It's so important to do that in school, especially because it's such a safe environment, than going there out in the world and then being broken down in such a, it's not a safe environment to, get broken down when you've been living in a cocoon your entire life. But of course, you don't get your social interaction as much, but you're going to learn so much more in future school. And I actually thank all my facilitators for helping me with all of that. Things like learning to talk to people who are like 40 years older than you, things like conducting an event, things like how to bring people together, how to handle people in like, your teams, how to handle a project, how to be a leader, how to lead an entire team, how to start a startup, how to pitch to investors, how to get money out of people, how to get people to pay you, how to do your own gig, how to freelance, how to outsource, all these things. You'd never learn them in a regular school. You'd learn them in future school. And I'd really like to thank my facilitators. They really helped me for years. Even though I complained so much, they still helped me. And I'm so grateful for all that you've done. So, and that's really what future school is all about. I'm so glad that you saw the interview, because the interview is like the raw version of what really happened. And but yeah, that's why future school is so different from regular school, and that's what you learn from school here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah, I
ma'am, for
really
the
hope that
question.
answers your questions.
Yes, yes. So I think Varnika's hand is still raised. Do you have any question, Varnika?
By mistakenly raised, ma'am. No doubts, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So now it's time to end the session. I would like to Sidharth, thank Sidharth a lot, because it's been too much time, right?
Yeah, it's
Like
been so
more
long.
than
Yes,
1.5 years. But as
Yeah.
Sidharth is someone who likes to share what he knows, like to talk a lot, I think you enjoyed the session more than anyone
I
else,
did.
right?
I did.
Yes. And I hope those who had questions that got cleared, especially Zian. Zian was the
Yeah.
most beneficial one out of this student list. Okay. So yes, I request everyone to please follow what Sidharth advised. If you have any doubts, you can contact him. Okay. Yes. And thank you so much, Sidharth. It was very nice to see you back after a long time. And I wish you all the best. We really miss you in the
Thank you.
classes. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Thank you so
Yes.
much, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me.